Money making money making money.
Come on, you gotta tell me, how is this even possible?
It's easy. 1, you take your money and you put it in this secret spot. 2, you let that money grow with compound interest. 3, then you find a place for that money to go where it can work for you. 4, and then every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, you join me for a wealth webinar.
I'll do it.
It's free. Plus, if you join me now, you'll get my free ebook that teaches you to get all the money back for every car you buy, drive, and own. So take advantage of this opportunity and I'll see you there.
Hey, are you ready to take control of your financial future? Welcome to Private Money Club. Private Money Club is the ultimate online platform connecting real estate entrepreneurs with private money lenders just like you. Whether you're looking to fund your next deal or lend money to grow your wealth, Private Money Club is your go-to resource. You can post deals, find funding, connect with other like-minded professionals. It's just a community. It's a community that you need to plug into. If you're new to the game, no problem. Our Learn platform and our weekly coaching webinars and our on-demand resources are here to guide you every step of the way. Join a thriving network of real estate experts who are already making an impact, and they're waiting to partner with you. So Private Money Club gives you the tools, the training, the connections, and everything you need to achieve your financial goals. So why don't you start now by going to privatemoneyclub.com. We'll see you inside. Hey, you need to become your own bank. And it's as simple as changing one thing, and that is where your money goes first. I mean, think about it. Household debts in this country are at all-time highs. You got tons of market volatility. You got the potential for Social Security running out of money. You've got global uncertainty, political divide, and you have to figure out where you're going to put your hard-earned savings. I mean, this is one of those times in history where the rich are getting richer, and it is time to learn the secrets of the wealthy. But here's the good news. Every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I put on a free webinar where I teach you how to take back control of your money by teaching you how to become your own bank. So click the link below and let's get started.
So let's go into the app, because the app was created after a dating site, believe it or not. So people with money and people that need money. Phone, swipe left. Swipe left. Ooh, I like that one. Swipe right. You want to go on. If you got money, you want to swipe left through all the deals. When you find one you like, boom, you're connected. How much more difficult does this really need to be? This isn't rocket science. They want you to think it is because they want control of your money. It is time to take back control of our money. I want to invite you to a free interactive webinar that we're doing to teach you how to get prepared for what's about to happen and how you can grow, preserve, and protect your wealth and get it ready for a recession or maybe the next Great Depression. So all I need you to do is click the link below. You're not going to want to miss this with all this stuff going on.
Are you sick of having your money lying around not doing anything? Well, we've got the solution for you. PrivateMoneyClub.com. Back to you, Chris.
So that's what it is. Private Money Club was created for you and for all of us. So I've got something special. Since you're here, you're listening to us talk to you about the infinite banking concept, I wanted to make an offer. Private Money Club is something that will benefit each of you, but we've got what's called the Accelerator. The Private Money Club Accelerator is a coaching program that takes together the knowledge that you'll need to be your own bank and puts it together with the opportunities in Private Money Club so that now you learn and apply the knowledge. Check it out. We got a very special offer for you to be part of the next Accelerator coaching program and get you into Private Money Club so your money starts working for you.
Hey everybody, it's Buff Finance Guy here, ready to show you how to make some serious gains, but not only in the gym, with your wallet too. Most people put their money in the bank doing absolutely nothing for them, but I'm gonna show you how it doesn't have to be that way. So take Andrew here. His money has just been sitting lazy in the bank, but all he has to do is change one thing, and that's where the money goes first, and everything changes. Just change where your money goes first, silly.
Wait, just one change?
Yeah, that's it. Instead of sending it to the bank, you send it to your very own banking system. Your money can grow and get stronger, just like me.
It's time for Money School TV. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth.
You've been on the fence to come to PMC Money Tank. I'm telling you right now, you're missing out on a treat.
This is the ultimate watering hole for lenders and borrowers.
If you've got decent deals, you'll find the funding for it.
The networking here has been fantastic.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Tremendously beneficial.
Oh my gosh, so many people to network with.
First day, I probably met 5 or 6 people. They show me ideas, I show them ideas. We're actually on stage about 20 minutes ago, and since then, I've already had about 20 people reach out.
There are several people that I probably will be doing business with.
I have like 15 private lenders ready to fund my deals. The people here are amazing and so welcoming.
You walk in, everyone greets you right away. No one is a stranger.
It's just an amazing and comfortable place to be.
There's so much stuff that I've been able to learn that I didn't know. I've had aha moments over and over again.
They talked about normal rates of return, not 6%, we're talking about 10%, but in a way that's ethically sound and stable. It's full disclosure, but helps walk you through everything. They even talk about it on stage of like, we've already made the mistakes, so here we are, and we're teaching you to not make the same mistakes. You get to learn from us, you get to just follow our direction and just see what you can do. I've gotten great things out of the virtual events, but there's no comparison to actually coming here, experiencing the energy, and getting to meet all of the people. Everyone is here looking to grow in some capacity. Being in this environment, it allows you to feed on that and foster that.
During the event, they had a lender-borrower meet and greet, which is pretty cool. It's different when you can spend some time, have a meal together, hang out, joke around. The people are just a blast.
It's so much fun.
The community of the Money Tank PMC, the whole crew with Chris, Stephen, Jonah, everybody, and Joe, they've all helped me out. It's been changing my life.
You're gonna learn something, you're gonna meet someone, and it's definitely gonna make a big difference in your business. Not by a little bit, but by a lot.
I mean, you could stay stuck thinking you can do it on your own. There's a lot of people that I talk to, their issue, and then they come here, and I talk to them a year later, and they've grown so much just by coming to this event.
Started $15,000 in credit card debt. As of today, I have $550,000 out in private lending. That's what this teaches you.
I tell people all the time, you have to get in the room to be around the like-minded people.
Go. It's worth it.
Just come. Do it for yourself. Do it for your business.
Take action. You got to do it.
Come to the event. You don't want to miss it.
Well, the biggest thing I hope that people get is something that they can actually apply in their lives. You know, that's the biggest thing for any of these events that we want. We want people to leave here not just riled up, not just excited, but actually going out and doing something that'll put them in a better financial situation, help their family. And for the speakers, my goal is that they go out and they impact the audience and bring something the audience never had exposure to that allows them to then fill in that piece that they're looking for. I'm going to be talking about more lease options. I'm going to be talking about equity shares. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of fun stuff today. Because again, I'm not here to teach about how to do those deals. I'm here to teach about how to invest in those deals.
Filled with individuals that are like-minded, that are at the top of their craft, they're at the top of their game. And for anybody that's an attendee, it's just a mind-blowing experience.
It's almost going to be hard to speak anywhere else but here because it was such a great experience. I felt like, I don't know. It was amazing. Nothing less than amazing, literally.
At the PMC Money Tank event, which is an epic event that we're putting together that does one thing and one thing only, makes everybody money. It brings people with money together with people that need money. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You just smash them together and everybody wins.
Wednesday, 9:30, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Going live! All right, what's up, everyone? Good morning. Welcome to What the F Happened, presented by the BYOB Money School. My name is Stephen Nagy, and I will be hosting the show today, along with my guest co-host, Mr. Money Mentor Brian Fouts, all the way in from way out west in Idaho, so super early, 6:30 in the morning. Brian, thanks for waking up early, joining me this morning to talk a little bit about the news. What's going on out your way?
Fires, man. Lots and lots of fires going on right now. It's pretty crazy. So, yeah, it's kind of scary. It's been really smoky out here. Can't even see the sky sometimes because there's so much smoke. About 600 to 700 homes just got burned in one of the big cities right now, about an hour from me. So, yeah, it's been pretty crazy. So.
Wow, yeah, that's I definitely saw that on our agenda today. We're going to get into the wildfires a little bit. I saw they were lighting up the East Coast. What was it, a week or two ago? Going all down through New York and Pennsylvania. I had friends in Pittsburgh sending me photos of the sky just completely black. Obviously, our partners up in Buffalo, New York, were sending photos, pretty wild stuff, and even going down into Michigan. So now it looks like it's out in the West Coast. So we'll get into a little bit about what's driving that. But Chris Nagy is traveling. Him and a few of our other associates were up in Indianapolis meeting with one of our insurance carriers, One America, talking business the start of this week. So they are traveling home today. So we'll be holding down the fort and getting into it with everybody today. But we got a full schedule. We got a lot to talk about. We are using technology to help us build the new show agenda and schedule. So like always, if there's any stories you hear throughout the week, definitely throw them our way. Send us an email, and we will definitely get those into the show. We'll talk about them, see what's going on. But Brian, I'm sure you might have some things you want to add to the agenda today as well. So we're going to get into it. But let's see what we're going to start with. We're going to talk about the markets. Markets are digesting fresh GDP data and another Federal Reserve decision to leave interest rates unchanged while trade tensions continue to dominate the economic outlook. I see the Federal Reserve officials are kind of mixed also on keeping it level, increasing now what that looks like. We'll talk about that. At home, primary election results and growing concerns over Canadian wildfire smoke are grabbing headlines. Overseas, global attention remains fixed on trade negotiations, Middle East tensions, and China's slowing economy. Meanwhile, the internet is doing what it does best, turning bizarre crimes, animal encounters, and viral oddities into this week's just what the F moments. So we're going to get into all of that and more on today's show, but we'll be right back to get into the economy. All right, so let's get into this, Brian. Good morning, everybody. And like always, please share your comments over in the chat. Let us know what you think. Share your opinions. We're just here talking about what we talk about. We always love to hear from everybody else out there in the internet world. Brian, what do you think? So with that being said, we're going to start with our first story. The Federal Reserve deciding to hold rates. Now, we talked about this last week. We expected the Federal Reserve to hold rates. We talked a little bit about the new Fed chair, Warsh, and kind of his background, his economic outlook, and kind of his style for how he plans to run the Federal Reserve, because he replaced the last Federal Reserve chair and became the new guy just a couple months ago. So still kind of new, his style, seeing what he does. But let's get into a little bit about what they came out with last week and what was said and how the market has reacted since. So I'll pull the story up and hit some of the headlines here. So Federal Reserve holds its benchmark rate steady at the Federal Reserve meeting. This was last Wednesday afternoon after the show. So the Federal Reserve said it's keeping its benchmark interest rate unchanged, citing elevated uncertainty over the nation's economic outlook. The decision to hold rates steady marks a continuation of the Fed's wait-and-see strategy this year as it monitors the impact of the Trump administration's tariffs on consumer prices. But Wednesday's policy statement also underscored that the growth remains steady despite concerns about slowing economic activity. So a week later, if we kind of look at what's going on with the markets, I'm going to share actually the stock market. Let's look at the Dow and the S&P real fast to see how they've reacted to this.
Yeah, the
So
old
the Dow
wait
had a
and
heck of a
see.
day yesterday, but if we look at the last week, we can see the market's really been popping over the last week. So holding the rate steady, it seems like the market likes that, along with everything else that's going on right now. Nasdaq similar, the S&P 500 similar. When we pull back to the last year, of course, we've had some growth. We had a little pullback. We've had some nice growth, really. The first. Really through the second quarter of this year. So that continues to hold pretty steady right now with what we're seeing in the news. But what are you hearing out there, Brian? I mean, you're talking to clients each and every single day. What are you hearing from them? Are people feeling good about the market? Are people feeling good about the economy? Are people even paying attention to this stuff? What do you think?
Yeah, it's talking to a lot of clients. Yeah, people are paying attention to it, but they don't know what to interpret it. They don't know how to interpret what's going on because the Fed right now, by holding rates, is in the kind of the wait and see, position right now because they don't know either. They're watching inflation, they're watching the economy, and they're uncertain around the future, so they're holding rates right now because they don't know whether they should raise them or lower them right now. And I think that while everybody's saying no, everything's going great, S&P went up, all that kind of stuff. There's that underlying level of uncertainty just across all conversations I'm having right now because yeah, the S&P went up, but the Fed doesn't know what's going to happen, and so they're holding rates, which makes everybody a little nervous because they don't know. And then also, I've talked to a lot of clients, and there have been some people that have had their career changed because their job is no longer there anymore. They got cut because companies are starting to try to trim that up a little bit, trying to trim down their employment. So unfortunately, I've had some conversations where people have gotten laid off recently. So there's a lot of uncertainty around that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to go into a little bit more detail on what you're mentioning, the decision to hold rate steady marks the continuation of the Fed's wait and see strategy this year as it monitors the impact of everything going on. Although swings in net exports continue to affect the data, recent indicators suggest that growth of economic activity moderated in the first half of the year. The Federal Open Market Committee, the 12-person central bank's rate setting panel, said in its statement, the unemployment rate remains low and labor market conditions remain solid. Inflation remains somewhat elevated. So two voting Federal Open Market Committee members, federal governors Michelle Bowman and Christopher Waller, voted in favor of lowering the central bank's short-term rate. A rare show of dissent at the Fed, where monetary policy is generally set by consensus. So, had a couple people wanting to lower rates, but we also see several other board members coming out wanting to raise rates. Just this week, Federal Reserve Kashkari says now is the time to start slowly moving rates up. So, the Minneapolis federal president, Neil Kashkari, told CNBC on Wednesday that he thinks the central bank should start slowly moving interest rates up. He was one of the three dissenters last week's policy meeting who voted against the decision to hold rates steady, mentioning the other two that voted for moving them down. Do what you think is the right thing to do for the economy at the end of the day. Is what Federal Reserve Chairman Kevin Warsh told him. So have a little bit of odd dissent going on there. But, when we look at what's going on with jobs, we have some fresh data coming out just today. So we'll pull this story up real fast. Private companies just added 44,000 workers in July below expectations. So we're starting to see what you mentioned, Brian, people starting to get laid off, companies starting to tighten up, along with, private companies adding less jobs right now. Is that going to lead to some other decisions that the Federal Reserve is going to have to take into account and decide to make? So private companies added 44,000 jobs in July, a slowdown from the 95,000 the prior month and below market expectations. Virtually all the job gains came from the healthcare related sectors, with goods producing industries seeing a net loss. And that's something to maybe worry about, when people are buying less stuff, less demand, less workers needed. Pay growth for those changing jobs hit its highest level in a year. So with that said, Brian, anybody watching right now, what are you guys feeling out there? What are you seeing in your own lives, in your families, your friends, people in your area? I know that, the United States is huge. We talk about this in real estate all the time. There's different markets throughout the country that definitely are affected differently, that have different conditions. I mean, here in Florida, you see a lot of headlines. foreclosures are getting to record levels again, and the market's dropping. But when I look around where I live, things are still very elevated, very high. The market is still very strong. It's still very much a seller's market. But when you start to expand out and look across the country, that's very different in a lot of different areas. And we see that very closely in Private Money Club. Private Money Club obviously is the company that we own and operate as a community of real estate investors. Those that are out there buying property every day, flipping it, turning it into rentals, developing land, buying and holding land. And the other part of the community in Private Money Club are private lenders. So people that are looking to lend money, earn 10, 12, 15% annual returns, have their money backed by an asset in that real estate in a first lien position in a lot of cases. And so we see it happening every day. And we're kind of seeing how lenders, private lenders are really getting a lot more detailed on what they're lending on, looking for higher loan to value ratios because they feel like the market can drop. And we're starting to see, honestly, just less deals because the market has tightened in a lot of parts of the country. So it's all very connected. And, a lot of what we deal with today is driven by the Federal Reserve and those decisions that they make. So we will continue to keep a very close eye on the Federal Reserve and what they continue to do and what they signal, but right now leaving it unchanged, and we'll see where that moves into the future. Any final words on that, Brian?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I watch the area that I'm in right now as far as real estate goes, and it's really interesting because I live out in the country. I'm kind of remote and North Idaho. But here's the crazy thing is that there's a lot of money moving away from the coast, trying to get away from California, trying to get away from Seattle, and Idaho is one of the fastest growing states, I found out. And so that is causing the real estate market to be actually elevated here, which people don't like because they don't want people moving here and bringing all the politics with them. But yeah, I'm seeing quite a bit of development still happening. I'm seeing prices actually staying steady or going up in some cases around here. But what you're seeing though is you're seeing people moving away from those high tax, high population areas, baby boomers retiring with money, selling a business, whatever it is, and moving to somewhere like this to get away from it, to kind of to be a little more remote. So from where I'm at, it's actually a really good market. And in fact, there's a big market here for mobile homes on the outskirts of some of the big cities. And so that's another strategy that I want to get into a lot because we're seeing a lot of people that are actually retiring, same thing, and are downsizing and want to have a really low cost of living. So mobile homes are really popular with kind of the retirees right now in my area.
Yeah, I love it. And, affordable housing in general, we see. Hey, Brian, real fast, Jim was just saying I have a really bad echo when I'm talking. And actually, I can kind of hear the feedback a little bit too. So
I'm muting myself when I'm not talking, so that should help.
Yeah, maybe just muted. Yeah, let me see. Jim, let me know if that, I don't hear it any longer when you mute, Brian. So that's definitely helping. There is a setting in StreamYard that can reduce echo. If you go to the audio settings, maybe you can try that also real quick. Thanks for the feedback on that. Loving.
That's already on. I already have it on, so.
Let's see. That's a cool name. Loving Thunder Therapeutics 6. That's a good one. All right. And then, Jim was saying the same. All right, cool. So it helps when you mute it though. But all right. So Shane was saying, been helping build up a Subaru store in Las Vegas, and business is very good, both lending and cash buyers coming in regularly. So very interesting. So business is booming in Vegas and people are doing well out there. I know a lot going on in Vegas. I mean, that real estate market, was definitely one of the hottest in the country, during COVID. I know a lot of people were, heading out that way, a lot of growth. I know there's a lot of investments going on and some of the funds that we owned and are part of. I know we were doing some investing out through Vegas. So great market. I see a lot of growth. I mean, the new sports teams, the Las Vegas Raiders, now they have the Las Vegas Athletics, the Oakland Athletics moved out to Vegas. So kind of cool to see all the growth and everything going on. Of course, F1 is wide open out there the past several years now. So thanks for that feedback, Shane. Jim said it's not AI, it's legal immigration. In the past week of college, and the U.S. asked for an H-1B visa employee to come to an assistant golf coach because no one from America do that. Yeah, I'm not sure, Jim, about that one, but thanks for sharing though. Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to we'll roll over to continue a little bit about the GDP. So Advanced GDP data shows the U.S. economy expanded in the second quarter, supported by consumer spending and business investment, despite continued trade uncertainty. So if we look at the second quarter, this is reporting from June of 2026, the U.S. goods and services, see if I can zoom in a little bit. Goods and services trade deficit decreased in June, according to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis and the U.S. Consensus Bureau. The deficit decreased from $77 billion in May to $73 billion in June, as imports decreased more than exports. The goods deficit decreased $3.9 billion. The services surplus increased $0.5 billion in June to $28.8 billion. So we can kind of see the 3-month moving average from June 2024 over the last 2 years, and what the U.S. goods and services trade deficit seasonally adjusted looks like. So continue to keep an eye on that. All right, I'm moving through, and feel free, Brian, to pipe in at any time. Just kind of moving through some of these different stories about the economy. All right, so we'll share this. All right, so tariffs continue to cloud business outlook. Businesses continue warning investors that higher import tariffs are increasing costs and could push consumer prices higher in the months ahead. Of course, that simply to us means higher inflation. And of course, that ties directly to what we just talked about with the Federal Reserve's decisions. But let's look at what's going on here, Brian. The new normal for U.S. tariffs and foreign goods starts at 15%, even as President Trump seeks to forge new terms of trade with Japan, and the European Union, and other global economic partners. He is raising the floor for tariffs to their highest levels in decades. Speaking at an AI summit on Wednesday, President Trump said, we'll have a straight, simple tariff for anywhere between 15 and 50%, conditioning the lower rate on countries opening their economies to the U.S. The White House has said sharply higher tariffs could take effect on dozens of countries as soon as August 1st, unless they ink new trade deals. The Trump administration has a separate negotiating timeline with China, which faces an August 12th deadline for an agreement. So as these new rules of international commerce take shape, companies across a range of industries are emphasizing that higher tariffs translate into higher operational costs and higher prices for consumers. And just give some different examples of companies that are saying that. So Trump continues to use tariffs as a negotiating tactic to ink these trade deals. And he keeps continuing trying to operate within his constitutional guidelines, within the law, I guess, so to say. Of course, his prior tariff guidelines were struck down by the Supreme Court just a few months ago. We were talking about that. So he's trying some new stuff now, new ways of approaching this, and new ways of continuing to control global trade. But anything on that, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, all these tariffs and all the talk about rising prices and all this kind of stuff. I'm always asking people, what are you seeing in real time, real life? What are you seeing in, as far as your pocketbook goes? And I get kind of mixed responses from people, just to be honest. Some people say, yeah, I haven't really noticed a lot of increased costs in the last, year. And then some people are saying, yeah, it's actually causing me to change where I actually go, where I shop, like say groceries as an example. So I was talking to a client here, this is on, I think Friday, and they said that they have changed completely how they shop because they realized that, certain stores are really price gouging right now. Like they're jacking up their costs. So then you go to another store down the road and the prices are the same. So it's kind of hard to judge on how the tariffs are affecting some of the food goods. But where I live, I'm not really seeing a huge change in prices in the last, year and a half. So I'm not sure that really means anything. But then, I talked to people that are on the coast, like in the big cities, and they're saying they're getting huge increases in cost of goods. So I think it's also, regional a little bit. But yeah, I mean, where I'm at, things are already pretty expensive because you're so remote. But other than that, I'm not seeing anything change all that much for me, at least.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate everybody that's sharing over in the comments. Keep those comments coming. And we'll be sure to discuss anything that pops up there. But let's go ahead and change up topics a little bit. So let's get into a little bit about the USA. What's going on in the news in the USA?
Hey, are you ready to take control of your financial future? welcome to Private Money Club. Private Money Club is the ultimate online platform connecting real estate entrepreneurs with private money lenders just like you. Whether you're looking to fund your next deal or lend money to grow your wealth, Private Money Club is your go-to resource. You can post deals, find funding, connect with other like-minded professionals. It's just a community. It's a community that you need to plug into. If you're new to the game, no problem. Our Learn platform and our weekly coaching webinars and our on-demand resources are here to guide you every step of the way. Join a thriving network of real estate experts who are already making an impact, and they're waiting to partner with you. So Private Money Club gives you the tools, the training, the connections, and everything you need to achieve your financial goals. So why don't you start now by going to privatemoneyclub.com. We'll see you inside.
My fellow Americans,
All right. So what's going on in the USA? I don't know, Brian. So I'll pull up X, a few times throughout the week, kind of scroll through, try and get a feel for what's going on. It seems like X has kind of become the global news public square. It seems to really be the place to go where you get a decently variety of mixed opinions and stories and angles and slants. I mean, it seems very difficult these days to just get straight up news, like without any kind of ulterior motive. But, so I try and read different sources. I try and look at different people's opinions. I try and read even, what people are saying on Facebook, as toxic as that can be, it still does lead to the overall sentiment of what people think. And so I try and take that in. I try and read the different sides, and I try and form my own opinion on almost everything. And so it just seems like this last week has been dominated with stories about Anthony Fauci and about what's going on with the Democratic Party, with some of these elections going on with these socialists, part of the DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America, and these candidates that they're putting out there that are, they're not hiding the fact of who they are and what they represent and how they want to fundamentally, completely change America. And so we have some very high stakes elections going on right now, these Democratic primaries. The big one that just happened yesterday in Michigan, I'll pull that up. But voters headed to the polls in Michigan yesterday as one of several high-profile primary elections that could shape control of Congress heading into November. And so they're saying right now that the Michigan Senate race is too close to call as 5 states hold primaries, but it's coming out this morning, or I should say, this morning, that Abdul El Sayed is emerging as the likely winner in Michigan's Democratic Senate primary. So Michigan Democratic voters likely chose former public health official Abdul El Sayed over Representative Haley Stevens as their nominee for the open Senate seat. That's a must-win for both political parties. The race in the swing state has been one of the most closely watched of this year's election, with the progressive El Sayed and the more moderate Stevens trading blows over AI data centers and U.S. foreign policy. El Sayed came into Tuesday and favored to win the race, according to recent polling. And as of right now, ABC News, which is not a source I typically would ever actually look at because they are very, 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 very on one side from everything I see. But they are saying that high stakes Senate race is too close to call as of this morning.
Robin loves to
We'll
treat.
have to see what goes on in Michigan, but it is interesting. We've seen it kind of happen now across the board. It's happening all over, Brian. We obviously starting with the election of Mamdani in New York City as the governor of New York City. We've seen elections now in Jersey, I want to say Ohio, and now we're seeing this as a Senate seat in Michigan. But El Sayed, it does not hide who he is. He's campaigning with people like Hassan Piker, who have said that they thought that America deserved 9/11. Just kind of ugly stuff, in my opinion, just kind of very anti-American stuff. So I don't know. I'm not going to get into the details on this show of that stuff, but something that I just find very interesting to see where both political parties are kind of going right now. And this does come out as Tucker Carlson is expected to make an announcement. He posted a picture with a bunch of kind of these defectors from the Republican Party, people that have kind of were prominent Republican figures that have kind of moved away from the Republican Party, and looks like they're trying to start this America Only party with Tucker Carlson at the head of that. So it's kind of interesting to see how both parties are moving right now. It's very easy to say, well, some of these socialists, it's easy to write them off, as kind of fringe figures. It's not the main Democratic Party. But Chuck Schumer also came out this week, and Chuck Schumer said, hey, listen, the Democratic Party is a big tent. People like the DSA representatives are part of our party now, and we have room for everybody in there. So, they're no longer able to kind of just push them off as fringe figures. They're becoming part of the platform. And when you look at the Democratic committee platform, it does incorporate a lot of these ideas. So it's going to get real interesting as we go into the midterms in November and then over the next couple of years. Brian, we used to live in these kind of election cycles with news where people it wouldn't really be headline news. We wouldn't be talking about things like this until maybe a couple months leading up to these big elections. But it seems like now politics is just front and center all day, every day. And it's getting nastier and nastier, meaner and meaner, and people are getting more and more opinionated. Unfortunately, we saw that come out on this show just a couple weeks ago for those of you that were watching. And I don't like that stuff, but it's hard not to bring it up and talk about it because it is front and center everywhere. People are talking about it, and it is driving the direction that we're going in this country. So for me, it's important to talk about. So Brian, I think the bigger story here is, how do we handle this as as a show where we talk about the news? How do we handle this as just people? How do we handle this with social media? Obviously driving engagement for this stuff. I mean, what do you think, man? It's crazy, right?
I think it's a good point, but so I read the book The Fourth Turning, many years ago, that talks about how a country go through a life cycle. Like, we go through the cycle, and we have not been through what's called the fourth turning here in about 85 years, 90 years. And it's every 80 to 90 years it goes through the cycle. And what I think is happening right now is we're seeing a lot of division right now. And I believe a lot of it is driven by social media, because if you believe one side or the other side, doesn't really matter. Social media is going to pick that up eventually and keep feeding you that stuff. And so what I think a lot of people are getting is this feedback loop from social media that just gets them more and more angry or emotional or at odds with other people. And then you got AI coming in now doing the same thing, and it's just feeding the beast, so to speak. I think it's going to come to a head, whether through politics or through the economy here in the next decade. And they're going to see a pretty big reset. I think it's going to be a reset from a political perspective and an economical perspective. And it's going to be pretty brutal. But it has to happen. It's happened. You can go back and look in history the last time it happened. And it's usually generational. And so you'll have one generation leaving kind of the space, call it life, and then you have other generations coming in. And there's a big switch happening right now, I think, with the older group and the younger group. And I think that's with a lot of conflict. And so as we start seeing the younger generation start to come into, call it, positions of power, which we're seeing right now in politics, it's going to have a big sweeping change. And I think it's going to have negative repercussions eventually, but it has to happen. And so that's what I think, just from studying that book. And the gentleman who wrote the book, The Fourth Turning, and I do recommend that book, by the way. It's a really interesting read. They talk about how there's 4 turnings in economy, in a country. And they predicted back in the early 1990s, I think early 2000s, when they wrote the book, they predicted there was going to be a recession, 08, 9, and 10. Then after that, they predicted there was going to be some world war, which we've had that. They predicted a pandemic, which we've seen that, and political and racial unrest, which we're seeing that right now. It's all the signs. So I definitely recommend that book. And the authors one of the authors wrote a second book. I have not read that one, by the way, but it was a follow-up to that one to talk about what's going on today. But I I think I've started to read that one, but I did not like it as much as the first one, but definitely recommend that book, The Fourth Turning. So,
Oh,
so yeah,
yeah.
so that's what I'm studying right now is that kind of stuff. But that's what I think is going to be happening eventually. But we're seeing it right now in the politics. You're seeing that younger generation come in and creating a lot of division. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. And rightfully so in a lot of cases. I mean, things have gotten very expensive. People were kind of duped into some of these college degrees, borrow tens and in a lot of cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get these degrees in topics and in studies that really have no real world use case and real world like reason to have a degree. There's no money there, so they're expecting to go out and get these high paying jobs that just don't exist for them because they don't have any real actual education that's valuable. And so they turn to, well, the system's broken, I can't afford a house, I'm in massive debt, I can't afford healthcare, let's burn it all down. You have mainstream figures. I mean, Kamala Harris is back somehow in the public spotlight talking about a potential return to a 28 presidential run, which is just insane to me. But she's out there saying her 28 platform will be eliminating the electoral college, which she came out and basically said, listen, I lost. I don't like that I lost, so I want to completely change the system that made me lose, which is crazy. But so eliminate the electoral college, pack the Supreme Court, make statehood for DC and Puerto Rico, and get rid of the filibuster. So basically just destroy the fundamentals of how we kind of operate our country right now. I mean, so we're seeing it from, headline figures, we're seeing it across the board, people are feeling the pain. So it doesn't help that, Trump, for everything that Trump is trying, his messaging, I don't maybe he's failing. I mean, I don't know, but it's also people like President Trump. I mean, it just doesn't look good. I mean, things are high and he keeps, the war in Iran just keeps going and going and going. Gas prices keep going. I mean, prices are still inflated. We're talking about rate hikes now. Things are not getting better before, it's getting worse before better. So where do we go from here? I mean, we have two parties that just, it's tough, man. So I don't know. Just talking about it though. I think it's good to talk about. So with that said, again, share your opinions, guys. If anybody has anything to say, love to hear it.
yeah, no to Harris. Well, the problem is and that's why politics is just it's just so gross because what you're going to see is a lot of the Harrises and the kind of the younger ones are going to start talking the way that their constituents want to hear them talk about so they can get the votes. And both parties do that, by the way. This is not left or right. They all do this. And they're just looking, hey, what's going to get me voted in? And there are the exceptions, though. There are some of those senators or people in power that are the exception. And my hope is that the ones that are the exception, they're honest. I hope they come into power and push some of these others out. But man, it is the rhetoric that's coming out of some of these people's mouths just blows me away that people are eating it up. It's just insane to me. It's just it's crazy to me. So
yeah. And it's gonna get crazier and crazier because you have figures that in the past have never been involved in politics. Just a large kind of segment of those people are the tech bros, all these very, very wealthy technology founders, people that have founded these tech companies that are very involved in the AI space and very involved in what drives a lot of the world. And, historically, they've really stayed out of politics. Maybe they silently fund campaigns and things behind the scenes, but a lot of them are becoming very vocal in politics and going mainstream talking about politics and getting on podcasts and getting on shows. And so I think as we see more and more talking about it, it's just going to drive that much more opinions and division. So I don't know, man. To me, follow it, have your opinions, just don't let it destroy friendships. Don't let it destroy lives, families, things like that. Understand at the end of the day, we all want what's best for ourselves, our families. Maybe we have different opinions on how we get there, but they aren't that much different. If you actually sit down and talk to somebody that has a much different view than you and have a beer with them, 9 times out of 10, it ends up with a good time. So keep that in mind, that the difference is, while they seem very divisive, at the end of the day, they're really, really not, Brian. So I think we can move on. to the next topic, those wildfires.
Oh yeah.
So I see Brian, you got the sun raising. It looks like I see a little sunshine going behind you. So the fires aren't completely blocking the sun from your house this morning, but I have this quick little segment I can play.
With that severe weather that's impacting much of the country. This is from coast to coast. Out west, the Dragon Bravo fire, which has been burning north of the Grand Canyon for a month now, it's charred more than 116,000 acres, making it the 8th largest wildfire in Arizona history. And the smoke from that fire, as well as ones that are burning in California and then also up in Canada, it's clouding skies throughout the Midwest and East Coast. The visibility is so bad at times and in some places that Boston Logan International Airport was forced to delay flights for up to an hour yesterday.
The fires aren't the only concern this morning. A heat wave.
All right. So, I mean, you're firsthand out there with those fires. I don't know the cause of them, what's going on with them, but
Oh yeah. So this is it's kind of the perfect storm out where I live in North Idaho and obviously Eastern Washington and that kind of stuff. Is the snow here was really low. So up in the mountains we had about maybe 2 feet of snow versus like 6 feet. So when you have a low snowpack, they call it, then the ground does not get saturated and you have a very, very dry environment. And then we had a really dry spring, which was really bad. And then we had a lot of wind and things that came through, low humidity, just made everything dry. But the big fire that just came up, it's called I'm blanking the name of it, the trail fire up in North Spokane. It just eradicated 700 homes and businesses, just destroyed them. And it's one of the biggest ones that's happened up here. What caused it? It's always human, almost always human. Now, there'll be fires where there's lightning strikes and they'll cause fires, but those don't usually cause a big issue. It's human. And the one in the North Spokane was actually started by a person on purpose, an arsonist, and he got caught. And so he's going to be going to jail for a long time. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize that it's accidental. So we had a fire 3 miles south of my house, and this was in a field, a big farm, big field, hay field, and it was equipment. So a guy was haying the field and he hit a rock, caused a spark, caused a fire. They got it out pretty quick, but a lot of it is that kind of stuff. And so a lot of people just don't realize how dangerous fires are. And so where I live, like they tell you, do not operate any equipment. You cannot operate any gas vehicles on, off of a road. No mowing your lawns later in the day. It's all these rules now because it's almost always an accidental thing. But yeah, it's really scary right now. People have lost their homes, lost their businesses. It's really scary. And so my property, by the way, so I'm up in the country. I don't have any people around me, neighbors. Our property has been cleared, and so there's no forest within 100 yards of my house. So, and it's done on purpose. That was done by my in-laws when they lived here. So yeah, so you got to prepare for this kind of stuff. So it's just like anything else, Stephen. Prepare for the things that you hope don't happen, but when they do, you're ready. And so yeah, so we prepared our house and stuff, but it's really scary right now up here. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Wild stuff. And just one last thing going on in the U.S. before we move over to world news. We were mentioning Vegas earlier, and I know Shane was saying it seems like the economy is doing great there. They are having a large experience, a notable downturn in tourism, however. So it seems like the local economy might be doing very good. The real estate market seems to be popping, but tourism is way down. So it's marked right now by a 7.5% drop in visitors to roughly 38.5 million, which reflects the sharpest non-pandemic decline in visitation since 1970, driven heavily by a soft midweek leisure market, high inflation, and rising travel costs, which I can agree with, man. I mean, if you've been to Vegas, I haven't been out there this year, but I've probably gone out there, I don't know, maybe a dozen times, 15, 20 times over the last decade, maybe even 15 years. And it's noticeably gotten much more expensive. You used to be able to go out there and drink for free and stay cheap and have a great time. It just seems like, you got there now, get a $15 beer. It's hard to get any free drinks when you're gambling. Hotel rooms seem to be very, very, very expensive. So I think I think Vegas is trying to figure it out. And resort fees are a big thing that's holding people back. parking has gotten crazy. And then entertainment. So to see the shows and to get entertainment has gotten very, very expensive as well, where they used to give a lot of that stuff away for free. So see what happens out there in Vegas, if the local economy can stay strong, if they can figure out what they're doing with tourism and turn that around. But Vegas has always been a fun place. You ever get out to Vegas much, Brian?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, my best vacation ever was my wife and I. This is, over 10 years ago now. We hopped into our car. It was a Shelby Cobra that I had built in a replica of a Shelby Cobra, 2-seater. We drove from basically right around Seattle all the way to Vegas. We had no plans on the way there. We had no duration on how to get there, and we had no hotel reservations. And it was one of the best vacations we ever did. Just she and I. We stopped all over the place, had a bunch of fun, saw a bunch of sights, and we had a really nice place we were staying at in Vegas. And then, but yeah, I remember even back then, it was more expensive than I thought it was going to be. The shows, all the kind of stuff were pretty expensive, but that was over 10 years ago, and it was a great vacation. I want to go do it again, but when I went back and started looking at some of the costs of Vegas, I was like, there's no way. I can't justify it, and the cost of some of the stuff we had done before have more than doubled. So I don't have any plans on going back anytime soon. I don't gamble, so that doesn't really interest me. I'd go for the shows, but they're just so expensive now. And even for this year, my wife and I and our family, we have not traveled as much as we normally would because of just the astronomical cost of travel. Very expensive. Plane flights, really expensive, all that kind of stuff. And so we're just having a fun summer by around where we live because we have enough stuff to do. But yeah, we're not traveling very much at all this year, which is mainly cost driven. It's just so costly right now. So, and when you have a family of 5, it's very expensive. So, yeah, we were going to go to Alaska, but we actually ended up canceling that. So, it was just too expensive, and just the timing of it and everything. So yeah, but
yeah, I hear you, man. All right, cool. All right, I got some updated stories here, but we're going to roll into what the F is going on around the world. Be right back.
Money making money.
Come on, you gotta tell me, how is this even possible?
It's easy. 1, take your money and you put it in this secret spot. 2, you let that money grow with compound interest. 3, then you find a place for that money to go where it can work for you. 4, and then every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, you join me for a wealth webinar.
I'll do it.
It's free. Plus, if you join me now, you'll get my free ebook that teaches you to get all the money back for every car you buy, drive, and own. So take advantage of this opportunity, and I'll see you there.
All right, so what's going on around the world? And while I'm pulling that up, Brian, we are going to be on Wealth Webinar today, 1 p.m. Eastern. I got a really cool show planned. We're going to be getting into a lot of the mindset and foundation of what the infinite banking concept is built on. So you're not going to want to miss that, especially if you're already practicing infinite banking, or you have been, hey, what is IBC? What is becoming your own bank all about? Today's going to be a great show. So make sure you join us at 1 p.m. Eastern for that. All right, let's see. So what's going on around the world? Well, man, these sites have the craziest pop-ups, don't they? Hey, hit mute real fast, folks. All right, so Trump says deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz could come as early as today. So let's see what's going on with that. This has obviously been being talked about for months at this point. It's the Strait of Hormuz is what controls the oil coming out of Iran. So U.S. President Trump said a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz could come as early as Wednesday as Iran and Oman inch towards an agreement on the critical waterway that could ease pressure on the global economy and potentially help bring an end to the war. The U.S., along with Israel, launched the war on February 28th, setting various goals, including toppling Tehran's government and ending its nuclear program. But the conflict has devolved into a fight over the strait as Iranian threats and attacks on shipping ground traffic through the waterway to a halt, brought to a halt. Closure of the strait, through which a fifth of the world's oil and natural gas once passed, has driven up the price of fuel and basic goods for far beyond the region, roiling the global economy. Trump is also under mounting pressure to end an unpopular war ahead of the midterms coming up in November. So Trump says a deal to reopen the strait is close. President was asked by reporters traveling with him in California about a report by Axios news site that announced the strait could reopen on Wednesday. It could happen tomorrow or the next day. A lot of progress has been made since, said President Trump. Oil prices initially eased on hopes of a deal that would allow shipping to resume, but later inched upward. Brent crude, the international standard, was around $80 a barrel on Wednesday, still well below the levels it hit at the height of the conflict. The U.S. and Iran reached a deal to open the strait in June, only for attacks to resume. So it's kind of been this back and forth going on, Brian, with this war, with the strait, with what's going on out there. And oil prices kind of bounce right along with the news that's coming out every day. So I don't know. What do you think, man? Get a deal
I don't buy any of it. It's all just BS as far as I'm concerned, because how many times have they said, oh, it's going to be open, and it has not? It's a freaking seesaw. I don't, whatever Trump says, I don't believe it. I mean, he might believe it, but I don't. It's just, I'll wait to see when the actual results happen. But right now, and that's the thing I don't like about the oil price. People say, no, it's going up and down because of what's going on there. To me, it's not going up and down because of what's happening in the strait. It's the emotions around it that are causing the price fluctuation. It's the emotion. It's all emotional driven. And so I think that's what we're seeing right now. If it does get open, yeah, I think price will come down. But once again, until I see it happen, I don't believe it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. It's like the little girl that cried wolf. You say something so many times and people just stop believing you. But in other news, funeral held for family wiped off the map in Russian strike on Ukraine, neighbor says. So a Russian strike that kills a Ukrainian family. A Russian ballistic missile struck a home in Kryvyi Rih, killing at least 2 adults and 4 children as Ukraine continued to endure heavy attacks while diplomatic efforts remained stalled. So the Iran conflict continues right alongside the Ukraine-Russian war that's now been going on. We were just talking about this last week also, Brian. I think it's going on over 4 years now is what we found out. Just amazing how time flies.
It's been a long time. I mean, and keep in mind, it used to be in the headlines every single day, and it's still going on, but it's not in the headlines every day anymore. But it's like, I don't even know what's going on with it right now. I haven't even looked into it, but it's at 4 years is insane.
Yeah, I mean, people continue to die. For what? It's tough, man.
There's a video going around right now of this vendor, and a Russian drone comes in and tries to blow him up. It's like, what is? I can't make sense of that. It makes no sense to me. I mean, why would a Russian drone, military drone, by the way, go after like a guy selling fruit? It blows me away. I can't comprehend it.
Yeah, and this comes alongside a historic massacre. Exhumations reopened Poland-Ukraine wounds. So investigators recovered the remains of more than 50 people during excavations connected to the World War II era Volyn massacres, a politically sensitive chapter that has strained relations between Poland and Ukraine. So I might want to tell our show director some of these stories are a little bleak, maybe to talk about what the F, Brian. I don't know what's going on here, but just having some fun with this today. So beneath or not having fun, I shouldn't say having fun with this story, but having fun with the new show agenda. We'll maybe clean this up a little bit before next week.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, but yeah, I used to read the news every single day, and I don't do it anymore. I look at headlines mainly, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's hard to know what to focus on. For me, I focus on what you can control. That's kind of what I'm doing right now.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Well, let's end the last 5 to 10 minutes with a little what the F is going on.
What the
All right. So in hopefully lighter news, let's see what pops up here. Of course, this is put out by The Guardian, not my favorite news source either, but let's see if we can even see it with all the pop-ups. Here we go. To Jimothy. Have you heard about Jimothy, Brian?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. We're all obsessed or why we're all obsessed with Jimothy the raccoon, the internet's animal of the moment. So from Grumpy Cat to Moo Dang, viral animals have long united people online. Are they becoming our only source of collective enjoyment? So this is Jimothy the raccoon scuttling around a Seattle neighborhood here this past week. So anyone who enjoys memes has surely by now accumulated a mental menage a trois of internet famous animals, including of many famous ones here recently. How about Roger the hot kangaroo? Do you remember that one? Or the pygmy hippo, Brian? I don't know. These are very online people, I think. But let's see. Now we have Jimothy, a raccoon with short spine syndrome, a familiar sight in a Seattle neighborhood for his unusually rounded appearance and scuttling movement. So apparently Jimothy went viral on Instagram a couple weeks ago and has since taken over the world. Within weeks of his debut, there's been a fan art, merchandise, multiple tattoos, a stadium theme night, and even a civic ceremony. So I don't know who here is a fan of Jimothy. What do you guys think? Is Jimothy the hottest animal right now? What do you got?
Yeah, if I saw that creature at night moving around, that would scare the crap out of me. He is freaky looking. Oh my goodness. But I've seen other like dogs that are the same. But yeah, he is one creepy looking animal. Yeah.
All right. Jimothy has taken over the internet, so we'll see how long that fad sticks around and what that looks like. All right, what else we got going on? What do you guys got? Any good what the F stories from this week? All right, let's see what we got. Drove. All right, so 15 escaped pigs bring New Jersey traffic to a standstill. So a drove of pigs slipped through a damaged farm fence and wandered onto Route 565 before police, animal control officers, and the owner safely corralled them without any injuries. So that's some good news. So the pigs got out and came back before they were injured. We got to get a picture of this. Oh, here we go. You guys got pigs out there where you live, Brian? They ever escape and take over the highway?
No wild pigs here at all. It's too cold. Yeah.
Well, these pigs
people raise pigs. People raise pigs all everywhere.
Yeah, we got wild pigs down here in Florida, wild boars, and they are some mean animals. They are actually highly encouraged to hunt and kill when possible. But these look like they're farm-raised pigs, so they luckily got them back to their rightful owner, and I guess this story ends happily. Brian, what do you think? What else we got going on?
What else going on? This was not really funny, but oh my gosh, New York's are they gonna test out government-run grocery stores? Oh my gosh. Please try that. I want to see how that does. That just is to me one of the most insane concepts. I just don't understand it. But
yeah, we talked a little bit about it last week. You're absolutely right. I mean, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, has it ever worked in history in any other country? No, it has not. It's pure socialism. But here's the funny thing. I don't know if this is true or not, but if you have a government-run grocery store, do you have to provide an ID to get groceries from it? From what I heard, the answer is yes, which blows me away that they're saying, let's do a government store with ID requirements, but don't have to have ID to do other things like vote or do important things. I mean, like, you can't make this shit up. This is insane.
It's pretty wild. I mean, when they came out and said that you're going to need an ID to be able to buy these groceries, I immediately I felt for every married woman out there, every minority out there. You know, I've been told over and over again that, you know, if we require ID, that they're not going to be able to vote for whatever reason. So I guess they're not going to be able to buy groceries either. So I do feel bad for them. We'll see where this goes. I don't know, Brian. It's full, like I said earlier, it's full on socialism taking over. Pretty wild stuff.
And then, like, I was reading the other article. This one blew me away. Is that schools are testing drones that can pepper spray people.
Whoa!
Yeah, I'm like, are you serious? But I've heard about this, and it's like a security company is wanting to do this. They want to build these pepper spray drones that can then go and like deactivate an active shooter, as an example. I'm just like, well, pepper spray, okay, but if it's someone who's shooting, why not put a gun on the drone to? But anyways, I saw that headline. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, that makes
there's
sense.
been some interesting ideas for how to protect schools. I mean, arming teachers was the big one for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know many teachers. Don't know how I feel about them, being armed in the classroom every day. Maybe if you have a select few that are trained properly, maybe a good idea. So drones is the new, and I'm assuming this is for something like that, right, Brian? Not just if a kid decides to, do something bad, like skip class or smoke weed in the bathroom, they're not going to get pepper sprayed, are they?
No, it was active shooters is what they were talking about,
Right.
But I mean, there was a shooting about an hour and a half south of me here a few days ago. Probably heard about it. Just horrible, but it was a young guy had an AR rifle and went at an In-N-Out burger, decided to start shooting people. And he 3 people, I think, passed away, unfortunately, but there was an off-duty cop and then a civilian that fired back. And once they did that, he no longer shot anybody and ended up took his own life. And so you go look at that event, if he had continued doing what he was doing, I mean, it was a very crowded area. He could have killed a lot of people. What stopped him was someone else with a gun. Not saying that's the solution, but that's what happened. And it was the gentleman who shot back. I mean, he was training. He trained, with a firearm, and then there's an off-duty cop, but that's neutralized them. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to say that a drone's going to be better than that, right? Yeah, Marcus said, yeah, just shooting randomly. He was randomly shooting. That's what he was doing. Randomly shooting, and then he was neutralized by those 2 people, and he ended up taking his own life. Thank goodness.
Holy cow! Yeah, actually, my wife had mentioned that to me. I hadn't actually seen the story, but it looks like the guy pulled out his sidearm in the drive-through and was able to take the guy out. Is that what happened?
He didn't shoot the guy. He returned fire, and he got shot at by the guy too. But once they started firing at the shooter, he stopped trying to kill other people, and then ended up he got pinned down by them, and then took his own life. So
interesting. Here's a story. I guess the guy was very well trained, which is good to see. But Jordan Salinas, I guess, from Kimberly, Idaho, posted this 2 years ago. Train like your life depends on it, because one day it might. So he posted this video of him out there training and learning how to shoot. And see, he drew his suppressed FN 5.7 return fire on the active shooter and helped divert the attack. Killed 3 and wounded 7. He's a civilian who posts his own drills on YouTube. No military background. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing stuff right there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it was a grand opening. Marcus mentioned that. Yeah, it's grand opening with it, and so a lot of people were there. Just horrible thing to happen, but thank goodness there were people there that stepped up. So yeah, so when you think about school shootings, it just blows me away that they say, "Oh, this is a gun-free zone." That is one of the stupidest things I hear is gun-free zones do not stop people from shooting people. It just makes the fines. If you do carry a gun there, it's much worse. So. Yeah, what's the solution? My daughter's school, they have doors that are locked at all times, and there are security officers there that are armed all the time. Small school, but that's how they do it. It's just, I mean, you can't just walk up to that school and just walk in. They have to buzz you in. There's a camera there that's watching you. That's how they do it. But yeah, I mean, this wasn't a school though either. This guy, it was just a random location. So.
Wow, man. Well, in other news, football is coming back. The mini camps have started up in the NFL, and one of the funny stories I saw this week, Brian, was Aaron Rodgers, Steelers quarterback back with the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. Aaron Rodgers was infamously, I don't know, but he took a lot of flack during the COVID era for not getting vaccinated and really being very vocal against it and just against everything that was being said with the masking and all just the absurdity. Of course, this last week with Anthony Fauci pleading the fifth in front of Congress, even with a pardon, 111 times. The science decided to not talk, and Aaron Rodgers, after just being shit on and being completely demolished for many years, I guess he's feeling vindicated, because on the Pat McAfee show, he came out and they asked him a question about the Steelers and kind of what's going on. And he goes, "I'm going to plead the fifth." And he goes, like, that absolute coward, Tony Fauci, absolute coward. Are you kidding me? What are you scared of, Tony? I thought you were the science. And he went on a basically a 3-minute just rant about how he's kind of feels vindicated and just what nonsense all of it was. And, ESPN is owned by ABC, which is a very, very left-leaning organization. So it did get a little awkward. The host seemed to kind of try to cut him off a few times, but Aaron Rodgers said, I am going to be heard. And he let his opinions known. So it's kind of wild to watch just how much has changed over the last 3 to 4 years, as things come out, and just, watching some of the clips now of just how CNN and all these news organizations, what they're saying today versus what they actually said during that time. It just, you see a lot of the time, you don't hate the mainstream media enough. And it's so true, man. It's just a wild. So we'll continue to monitor real news. We'll continue to try and dive through the BS and bring you what's actually going on out there in the world. But with that said, Brian, I think it kind of brings us to the end of the show. I'll let you say some final words here and we'll close it out.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of crazy things going on right now. At the end of the day, what you focus on is what you're going to attract. So, I like going through these topics, but also kind of seeing what's going on. It's, also lighthearted as well, I think is a good thing. And just like the Fauci thing, I just laugh at it because I'm not going to get all emotionally bothered by it. I'm just laughing at it. It's hilarious. I mean, you're seeing these people for who they truly are. So all I can do is just laugh. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it's crazy right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. That's all you can do is just understand as much as you can, kind of think with your own mind and form your own opinions. And like I said before, at the end of the day, does it really affect our lives? Is there anything that we can really control? Not really. And so that's why we do this show once a week just for fun, bring some lightheartedness to some of the craziness in the world. Hopefully that's our goal at the show. But we do 5 other shows throughout the week that are very serious, that do affect your financial life. 1 p.m. Eastern today on Wealth Webinar. We'll be diving in, like I said, what does becoming your own banker really mean? What is the infinite banking concept? And how can that actually affect and change your life starting right now today? And I've seen it happen with hundreds, thousands of our clients over the years, and definitely can help you as well. So join us at 1 p.m. Eastern. We do an Ask Me Anything right back here on YouTube and social media at 4:30 p.m. today Eastern time. So if you do have any financial questions, real estate investing, infinite banking, come on, Ask Me Anything, ask us your questions. That's why we're here, and check out all the other shows we do every single week. And with that being said, thank you for everybody being here today. Thank you, Brian Fouts, for joining me nice and early this morning for What the F. But we'll see you guys at 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll be right back here next week with another What the F Happened. Have a great day. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Just looking for some reason, my outro is not on here. We usually play a little outro exit video. I cannot find. All right. Well, we might need to bring that back because I'm not seeing it. So, guys, we'll see you next week. See you.